Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Hi, girls. How are you? How are you
I'm
guys?
good.
Yeah, nice to see you. I'll
Oh,
turn my heater off. It's a bit loud. It's so chilly here this morning. Oh,
yeah.
is it nice where you are? I hope you're feeling a little bit warmer than me.
Yes. Yeah. We're having pretty warm weather in Austin,
Yeah,
but although I'm in air conditioning, so you wouldn't know.
true. You're in Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
like, quite
Yeah.
in,
Lots of news happening in Texas.
yeah. Ah.
Not that I've turned it on today. I feel like every single day is new news.
And I've seen some really awful news lately, and I'm like, oh. Must just
Yeah.
be devastating. Oh,
Yeah.
I hope you're safe where you are and you guys are okay. Like, oh,
I mean, what is okay? What is okay? You know, I yeah.
oh,
I'm
oh,
here.
yeah, I'm glad you can be here and we'll talk
You know
about
what?
we'll talk about
I
better
I
things.
got to I used some of the Canva lessons that I had. I felt like it's nice when sometimes you can just submerge yourself in something where you're like, oh, I'm applying my lessons. I get to be creative for about 5 minutes, and I knocked a couple things off my list. It gives you a sense of normalcy. I love it.
Nice. Dare I say, and without going too deep with mental health, if you're just doing something normal and feel good and just for your mental health and just, yeah, to
Yeah.
despite everything, I think that's nice that you can channel that and just do something you felt productive and
Well,
good.
it gets undone almost the next time because then you're like, oh, this law came out or this happened. Oh, okay. You know.
Mm. Oh,
So
well, I'm glad you could
yeah.
make it, and I hope we can have fun today and whatever
Yeah.
comes up. I've just been looking at posts and research this morning, wondering what we're going to talk about, but I know something interesting always comes up. Yeah. Denise, are you there? Hun, hello.
I'm here.
You good?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Nice to see you. It was yeah. It was I hope you guys sort of enjoyed the meeting the other morning. I know a few people got confused about the time zone. Turned up today. I was like, no, it was the other
No, yeah, I
day.
saw that too.
Was that? Sorry.
It was nice. I missed some of it, but from what I saw, it was really nice. I feel like people got a real strong sense of what's happening. So I think that was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good
Yeah.
to give them an overview. And I feel like even though we couldn't mention everyone and everything that was going on, I tried to give the love to everyone and you know that there's just so much to cover. I think we're just focusing on like all of the things that were in play without overwhelming everybody, but knowing that there's so much going on in the background. Like if you didn't know, King, a beautiful Lenise is just creating all these amazing apps and educational frameworks and incredible things and courses and songs and music and incredible things she's doing in the background. But it's like then that would take another whole part of the meeting to to uncover all the incredible things that she's doing and all the others behind the scenes. And it's like she's doing such amazing work. And yeah, she's so clever and we love it. And everyone, you just send us a new thing, and we're like, oh my God, we don't even know how you make it, but it's incredible. It's like to Wayne, he's like, oh my God, look at what Lenise just made.
Yeah,
You know, when
thank
AI is
you.
like magic to people that don't know how you pull all that together. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's fun. I'm glad that it's being received well because it is a lot of work. Even though I'm using AI, it's still quite a bit that it takes to make it. So it's
Do you?
nice to know that it's received well.
Oh, I appreciate it, and it's very appreciated. And we know that we're going to be having a educational working group soon, and that you'll be pleased to know I put your link to all your frameworks in our strategy guide, and it is a fundamental part of building that out. So
Yay! I didn't know. Thank you.
yeah.
Awesome.
Just so Kingan knows, just our whole education arm of the business, and I don't know if this is an area you play in or not, because some people are educators, some are consultants, some are doing different things. So there's a few of these beautiful ladies, including Lenise in our community, they're helping create courses and educational frameworks and many other things so that we can roll out AI courses and programs that are very well thought through, that are ethical, that are deep and have frameworks and really something that we're proud to present and stand behind. And that also as we roll out courses globally into different regions of the world that need different cultural and localized kind of things thought about, and from Thailand to Asia to Africa to all over Europe, everywhere. So that's something we talked about in the meeting the other day, and it's just a lot of work going on in the background to roll that out. And I know there's other people in the space doing AI education, but I've yet to see anyone like the depth of, like, even Raquel last week was talking about the ethics and the depth of thought that goes into AI guidance and policy and education. And so we're really being thoughtful about how we create our guidance and courses, and even we've got different requests for people in different regions of the world that need different things, from Dubai to Thailand to, yeah, so it's wonderful to have the support of people that certainly know more than I do about putting all this together, and this is very much appreciated.
So,
Yeah.
I because in the US, I just got a trademark a couple weeks ago. I haven't rolled out. I'm working on my website. But I when I applied, I went for 6 different classifications because the way that it worked was hitting at each class for, so for consulting I had to file, for education I had to file, and it was like I
Mm.
didn't really know how this worked, how my branding, this is all new for me. And so each one of those things I had to file separately. And that's how I ended up getting 6 different classifications. So I went education, consulting, downloadables. Um,
Mm.
I can pull up the list, but the lawyer, when I went for a software product or SaaS offering, and ethics too, because I wanted to build in there as part of my product, because I did project management and it was a lot of goal alignment. I wanted to include some AI work. That was a really important component around it, that there's consent, and that people have awareness of like kind of what they're doing. Um, a lot of the code that I managed throughout my career was around sign-offs at different stages, so that everybody like that was working on it talked about, yep, we all understand, what has happened to the code here, and we all understand what goes into it and that kind of stuff. So it's interesting that there's all these things are kind of they're coming back, and they're just like still the same philosophies, just getting kind of reapplied in a different way.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
from
Mm.
I don't know, I see a pattern,
Yeah.
and I just think it's so important. So I love that you're looking at it from like the education standpoint and consulting, and because we get hung up on these semantics, but yet but if somebody gets hung up on one semantic, they forget about another one. And yet we all need to be thinking about it all. And so it sounds like you're just like bringing that cohesion together.
It's a brilliant way to look at it. I mean, I guess we are. Well, I hadn't thought about it
Yeah,
like, oh,
you're like being kind of the epicenter of it,
yeah. Yeah, well, we are in effect, and that's a nice way to look at it, because I see, like, maybe like you, a big puzzle and the pieces, and it has to all come together and how everything fits in,
Yeah,
and it's all part of one giant piece of the
yeah.
puzzle. And I see too many companies like, oh, we're just a creative agency, or we just do automation, or I just help you make 10K in a month with this shitty app, like all of these things. But no one's looking like, and then we have a conversation, or no one's looking at the ethics, no one's looking at the educational component. No, like the broad spectrum, like maybe, I don't know if you guys think like that, just seeing the whole globe and the whole spectrum and how it all fits together. And these are all parts of the puzzle. But then some people are like, oh, you're doing so much. It looks like you're trying to boil the ocean, and do everything at once. And it's like a lot. Yeah, it is a lot. But like, I think we have the capacity and the ability to tackle all this because of the network and the brain power of everyone involved.
Yeah,
And
but
this
if
is
we
an
don't understand the
important,
whole system,
important,
if
yeah.
we don't understand the system, then people have to force themselves in. It's like we don't want to be in a box, but then we have to be in a box to kind of understand where we fit into the system. And so it forces people to have a boxed thinking, like, okay, well, am I going for a course, or am I doing a consultancy, or what am I? And meanwhile, a lot of people don't know what they want to do. And so they have to like pick a lane or they have to pick a niche or whatever it is. And meanwhile, they really don't know and they might be bouncing around. And so that they don't they don't self-select into the right thing. But if you just kind of own it, you become the single source of truth, you know? Like
No.
that's how I view information is like kind of just owning the single source of truth and then people
Mhm.
come to you.
Nice. We did life coaching many years ago, and there's a philosophy that I forget the exact wording, but basically, when you have a group of people and you pull everything together at such a big level and you have so many crossovers, there is ultimately going to be a point at the center where, like you say, that's a single point of truth or something that will culminate at a point of being, and everything radiates out from there. And interestingly, I did a podcast with a guy called Yogesh recently, and part of that whole conversation where I said this whole concept of what we're building is a future forward company. We are doing everything. We're not in a box. We're building for a future of how companies will operate that don't yet operate. And the people that can't handle that have been getting us criticism like, oh, you're doing too many things. It's like, no, we are doing everything. We're not in a box. We're not just doing one thing. We are doing everything to move into the future of this freaking world to help everybody in the whole
Yeah.
world get on the AI boat because there's like it needs so much work. And if no one else is looking at this, well, let us be the group of people that do that together. Like,
How
yeah.
does how does like a centrifuge centrifuge isn't that how they work? I might be saying stupid stuff. I'm
Um,
sorry if I am.
oh,
But you know, when they spin really fast and like everything else kind of the dust settles or whatever. And like, you know, does that make sense? Am I
yeah,
making any sense?
yeah. I know what you mean.
Could be saying stuff that makes no sense.
The
Ignore me
center
if I
thing.
am.
Yeah, yeah. I know
So
what you're trying
like,
to say.
you know, I like all this stuff is kind of spinning and like the dust settles, but like there is it kind of comes together. But I feel like there is, you know, I don't know. I have visions of stuff.
That's cool. And I like that. And I like the fact that as we're how to say the academy and the agency are rolling out, there's so many crossovers with every individual. I like, yeah, I consult and I also teach and I also talk to businesses, but I also talk to people and I can also do a course to help people adopt AI. It's like, why do we want them in just one box? And we do both. So there's crossovers everywhere and it's like all goes together. I've like got mums down the street at Play Centre who want to know about AI. I've got businesses that want to know about AI and why can't we do both and all of it and service everybody in different target audiences, different niches, and why not do it all. But yeah,
Well, that's
like you
why
said, yeah.
the system that I'm building, I wanted it to be like kind of a growth model where someone you know they can't really progress and it's more because they're not really going to be ready to do project management on one team and then scale their teams because I noticed like when I would coach a young manager and they could handle like a team of 7 people, they weren't ready to all of a sudden run a company, right, or to have like a whole division. They had to like get used to having a couple teams, and so you know
Mm.
they have to grow to expand, and so and they have to mature at the same time. And so if you think about it from that perspective, they have to have courses on how to handle different complexity levels, and then they also have to mature, so there's like some time that has to go. And then I also would give them more capabilities from a unlocking certain bits of code, because then they could actually have access to more features because they need it, because they actually have to do more things, they need more reporting, let's say. And so when I was developing or working on building a product, I was like, it really does kind of come with like feature unlocking, consulting, it comes with education that all goes together as they progress. And so that's why I was having a hard time with the classifications and being like, what am I? Education? Am I, you know, consulting? Am I, am I, the lawyer was like, everything, just take it all. And I was like, okay.
Oh, well, I think
I was
we
like,
should
I'm a
do
lot. I know.
a lot. It's a lot. I think we did the same thing, and it's like every time I fill out a form, what sort of company are you? And they go, oh, what sort of company are we? I don't know. We're not
Uh,
one thing, so you just have to pick one thing. But I think the trademark, we also did a few things, but it's like when you're not in a box, it's not definitively you're just one thing. It's
I
been
know.
really hard to like,
And
yeah.
then you feel judged. And then it's like, don't judge me.
Yeah, I'm like, is it a multi selection box, please?
Yeah.
Because we do more than one thing.
Yes.
But I like what you're saying, like the whole marketing movement. And chime in any time, Denise, what you think. But following the marketing movement is all being around. Oh, pick a niche, and the more niche you are, and the more one lane, the more you're going to get people targeted to. I sell pink pigs to King of Viber, and that's all I do. Like, and then the next person's like, no, I want to be multi-passionate, and I do everything like you like and everyone loves that, yes, do everything and that's great, and everyone's like, no, that's not the right approach, and I'm like, oh my God, like what, who knows
Yeah.
anymore?
I um
Oh,
I have I definitely have feelings about that because as somebody who is extremely passionate, but I also get the fact that you actually have to talk to a person. Um,
yeah,
but I can also get caught up in things and I'm like, sure, but I'm like, yeah, somebody's got to pull out their wallet and pay for it. So I understand that too.
yeah,
Um, and so I think the way that I've decided to look at it was how we define niche is has always been like industry, or it had to be like, you know, and that I think is changing. This the definition of what is an industry has just traditionally like lined up with certain definitions that were, whether it was tech, and even then it was like marketing or tech, and I was like, I mean, now we use tech and everything. So let's stop that divide. Um, and then it was like, well, okay, or education and consulting. Well, let's stop that divide. So if we just kind of say maybe it has nothing to do with these artificial divides, and it has more to do with the type of person that they are. And so, is it somebody who enjoys certain things, or is it that so we talk more about, just the type of, maybe it's locale, maybe that's really important to us. Like I as person can really only handle a certain I don't want to travel, or I love to travel, or things like that. Like maybe it's more defined based off of our personal capacity for things. um
it is what I'm hearing, and that is a great point, the shift towards personalization generally in marketing and everything. So we're speaking to Lenice, or we're speaking to Amanda or something like that in our marketing, is that the whole shift. And I think AI will help us do that. And the more, like, we're even looking at customer personas and who Shares AI is speaking to as an example, and who we're, because I know in the fact, like I'm like you, I try to do everything, but then in the end of the day, I know that the copy is going to resonate with a certain type of person that's going to get, them to book you because they like what you're saying. And I keep telling Wayne that you can't, we're not speaking to everybody. Like he's like, oh, everybody needs this. I'm like, no, actually now we're about like dialing down to who you're speaking to. And even yesterday, I've put some posts on Substack that I thought was quite interesting. It's about um, this is so obvious, but I got reminded it's about the outcomes for the person. Oh, you help me get more followers on Instagram in 30 days. Not I help you with Instagram. Great, everybody does that. Like, what's the transformation for you as a person? And I help dog grooming businesses get more visibility in their market. Great, very specific. It deals with a need, their problem, their persona, and their spec. So what I'm in a boil, it's a persona and personalization focus rather than industry silos. I agree, break those down. But like still, I think there's a way to maybe do everything, but even identifying target personas as well within that. So I'm thinking out loud, maybe Shares AI has a persona for the education, like people we're speaking to, and then we have a persona for the businesses the agency speaks to. You know what I mean? So within your business, you'll have units that speak to different people. And then that's how you can personalize it. That's
does it come to, and I guess I'm just getting to know you a little bit. Does it come from a place of like, I hate, I always cringe saying it, like the whole "what is your why?" I cringe saying it, but
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
but was there that moment where you're like, I want this change in the world, and like if I make this change, and I heard before this
Yeah.
global, really bringing, but like do you lie awake at night and be like, this is the mark that I want to leave, and that
Yes.
drives you.
Yes and no. Yes, and like I get the whole mindset, philosophy, life coaching thing, so I don't mind a bit of woo-woo, but I think essentially it came from where last year and I was like, oh, these are the gaps I'm seeing. This is what I want to do. And basically it was like, I'm going to create Shares AI. This is what we're going to do. Massive gap. This is the need. And then Wayne and I basically like it comes from our why with having a passion for one, supporting youth and parents globally to, get on
Mhm.
top of the new shift into new technology. We used to mentor and coach people about mindset and business and philosophy and all of these things anyway. So the why is like supporting people to move forward into the future, I guess. And AI is just a new infrastructure, a new tool to enable people to work
Yeah,
in a different
I ask
way,
a
better,
question.
smarter, faster, cheaper, great, create better outputs, right, work faster. I don't know. So it's another vehicle to do that, but essentially behind it, everyone's a human, and those humans have brains, and those brains have mindsets at the end of the day. And to support people, that's never going to change. The marketing philosophy and consciousness is fundamentally there. So that will go in everything. But I think the why am I trying to answer your question more clearly? Then this, we've spent basically 9 months working around like as much as we physically can before we like fall asleep at my desk, like literally one day, like trying to build this because we're so passionate about what we're doing. And everyone we talk to, we share that what we're here to do and why. And we try to share that with everyone. And everyone who resonates with that, we believe that energy of that resonating those people will come because we believe in making ethical, you know, AI education for everybody. We don't want the same players having the same access to the same shit. We don't want to sell 10K high ticket offers to the same people in America everyone else is selling to. What about the rest of the 90% of the world who hasn't got into AI yet, who hasn't got access to education courses? We're still talking to people in Southeast Asia who still want help with their marketing or their life coaching or their AI or their adopting. And America's like, oh my God, we're like way ahead. Well, good on you, good on you, Silicon
Right,
Valley, for like being so superior. But the
right,
rest of the
right.
world hasn't got this ability. And I can't speak on like behalf of Lanice and all of these other women that join our
Yeah.
community and how they feel, what drives each of us. And I love that everyone comes with their own unique why and their skills and their passion and their drive. And all we're doing is being like you said, a hub to make those passions just go global and let's all work together to make a more positive future because yeah, I don't know. There's many things that drive us and values behind it, but yes, and that's what's creating everything that we're doing.
Hmm.
I don't know if I've
Do you mind if I
articulated
ask
that
some
as
questions?
well,
I
but
love this stuff.
yeah.
I love. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions?
Go for it.
I just this is the stuff I love because I'm so passionate. So so and it helps me know that if I'm aligned too. Because like the way like I can't sleep at night because I am so and I'm just going to share some personal stuff. Hopefully it doesn't make you uncomfortable. Um, I really wanted children and I couldn't have them. And like desperately. And I felt like I want and so this instinct of just like, I want the future to, like, I want better for them. Like, they deserve better, right? Like, I look around and I'm kind of angry at my peers. Like, how can you not care? How can you have, especially people that have children. I'm like, how can you not care? How can you look at your own children and not be like fighting for them? I'm kind of even mad at my own dad, where I'm like, why are you not fighting for me right now? Like, we should all be like, you know, um, and I've always taken mentoring as in my role very seriously. as I progressed in my own career, because I was not treated well. So I was like, every time somebody treated me bad, I took it out like, I'm gonna be extra good to the person I mentor so that they don't have to suffer the way that I did. That was very, and that motivated me. I think I had an abusive sister, older sister, that kind of stuff. Um, I had, I didn't fit in. I had, parents that were immigrants. So inside, I always felt like an imposter. And so for me, having this kind of internal struggle that I was always living, I felt very different. And I was like, I really think I could always foresee these issues that we were going to have. Um, and when so I literally, and as a project manager, I specialize in risk management. And so I started having a breakdown a couple of years ago where I was like, warning everybody, we're going to have some serious issues. And like, why is no one paying attention? And I wasn't trying to be alarmist, but I kind of was, right? And so I feel like now I actually have the benefit of almost being a little bit more calm about it, because I think that once you understand something, you can start doing something about it. I can get into kind of a little bit more of my project management hat and go, okay, well, I it's always being a step ahead of what's happening and then being able to reach back and help. And so to me, looking at She Is AI, I'm like, y'all, y'all are beautiful, like inspirational, like I get goosebumps when I see the posts. And it's like, that's the stuff that people are going to gravitate towards. That's like it's the, I mean, it's beautiful. It's art. It's, you don't get to see that on LinkedIn. You don't get to, I have to admit, I'm not on Instagram. So I don't know what's on Instagram. I'm sorry. I'm not. And I'm also not on Facebook, but it's on LinkedIn. And to me, honestly, I didn't even want to get on school. I got on school for you guys. Like, and, and, and to me, it's like when I see something so artistic that I kind of stopped like being interested in the tech world. And yet I see something that feels like hope again. And if there is this world that kind of offers that for women, and it offers like kindness and inspiration again, and this beacon that wants to rise and shine and say, we're here for you, where there aren't many beacons that want that. And that comes, and what I'm hearing is what you're saying is we just want to be that, and that's it. There is no ulterior motive. And there's a lot of ulterior motives in this world. And that is all I'm used to seeing. I'm not used to seeing anything else.
It's beautiful.
And I think
You're
that
giving
that's
me tingles. Like you have literally described the spiritual like intention of the whole company to be a light beacon for everyone who's like-minded to join together to help every diverse voice come together. And it may be about AI, but it's about more than that. It's about passion. It's about a new future. It's about absolutely equally passionate about our kids and creating and systems that work and creating a more
electricity.
positive future. And it's electric and that is like the heart of what we're doing. To be a beacon.
And
We're not
to
here.
be that
Someone said,
simple.
"Oh, you guys are like some greedy fucking false." I was like, "You have clearly don't know me because this
Yeah.
is the opposite than
Yeah.
me. I literally give away my money. Like, what the fuck?"
Yeah. I mean, you guys are,
Like,
it's
oh my God.
$19 a month. I was like,
Yeah.
what's going on? It's $19 a month for like the most insanely beautiful stuff possible. I'm like, what? I'm like, I feel like I'm stealing here. I feel like I'm doing something bad.
Oh, I can totally raise that for you. It would make you
So, because I have
happy.
no money.
But yeah, no, that's really
But
beautiful.
it's
Yeah.
you know, and own. I'm like, own it. It's a beacon of electric. Like I look at these creative people. I'm like one is not like the other. I'm like, please don't review my stuff. Can't catch up.
Um,
Project manager. But it's a it's beautiful. It's and you're artists and you care and like I don't know, like that's it. It doesn't have to. We put so much pressure on ourselves to be more because people make us feel like we should be. Screw that. Like,
um,
and like I don't know. That's how I see it
yeah,
personally.
brilliant. It's beautiful. I think I love that because, like, yeah,
Yeah.
Linus, yeah, you got any?
I mean, I wasn't talking much because you started talking about like marketing things, and I don't do anything with
I don't
brands and
either.
marketing. Well, like you have like positions of like how do you market yourself? Like I don't care. Like I am word of mouth for everything I do. Like 'cause I don't want to be on social media because it's too much work and it distracts me from doing what I like. So I just don't. But I agree completely with the mission and how it feels to be in this space. And it was apparent from the first meeting just to have an introduction that was personal about like what do you do, how can we help and serve you, like, and like if you start off in a way that is caring. And I definitely appreciate the space. I definitely feel like people care, and it is more about service than most spaces that I've ever been in. So I definitely feel comfortable here at She Is AI.
And I think that's when people get confused, then they're gonna then you have to fend off. I feel like my whole life I've had to fend off things because people make assumptions. And if I just own what it is that I am, then you don't have to fend it off. I had yesterday, this guy said, oh well, let's do a collaboration or whatever. And I was kind of thinking he wanted to do like sell me a pitch, do some kind of pitch, and I was a little bit like leery, but he's in the local area. I don't have friends really locally, and I need to network more. And he's like, no, no, he's like, what kind of clients do you serve? No, it's really going to be a collaboration. I do the same kind of work that you do, and I think we could refer each other to customers. And I was like, okay, like but I'm building right now. I'm working still on the software side of things. No, he looked at my LinkedIn and my website, and it ended up being that he tried to pass me off to his wife, who does website design. And I was just like, this whole you try
Oh,
to pull a fast one on me, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of I literally was checking in web changes at 2 a.m. and I'd call with him, and he's like picking apart. Anyway, the whole point being that it's like this gotcha that people are trying to do and trick people. And I was like, you came at me with the community kind of thing, and that wasn't what you were all about. And when we misrepresent ourselves, the word authenticity gets so overused, but I we're not going to be able to build that back. We just can't. And I called him out for it, he and his wife. I was like, because I was just like, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to do business with you guys. Like, it was under false pretense. I wasted a bunch of time. I have plenty of friends that I would trust with my money a lot more to help me with stuff like that.
yes, it's a bit of a strange approach, and I can only say I hope our approach comes off as I intend it to be, because I only ever show up and say what I think and think what I say and show up as ourselves, and there's like nothing hidden behind it except like we're here to help and connect everyone and serve everyone and support each other, and we still don't know how we're going to make some money, but we're at least helping lots of people. But we're like so authentically just showing up as doing our best, and I hope that comes across because like honestly, yeah. um
I think I felt like on the defense so many times that sometimes because I'm on the defense, because people make me feel like I need to be almost. Because this guy was like, so all of a sudden I'm like defending my website, and I was like, dude, I'm checked in some of the stuff at 2 a.m. It's a 10 a.m. call. And I'm like, why? I told you and I was like, I thought this was a collaboration call. Like, what is going on here? Right. And so I realized that
Thing.
when you're put on the defense and you're not expecting to be, all of a sudden I'm not representing myself well either.
Mm.
And I think that happens a lot to women. So, or at least it happens in the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know
Why
if
do
that
you,
happens
there's
everywhere.
something that I don't know if this is what you're saying, but like when people are misinterpreting, like you're just trying to show up as yourself, and then everyone's like, oh, you get told you're too much, or you're too quiet, or you're too egotistical. Oh, now you sound like a man. Oh, now, okay, you pulled back. Now you're too soft. Now you're too weak. What the fuck? Oh, you laugh too much. Are you too serious? You're not funny enough now. Oh, like, and I've heard all this. Oh, you're too egotistical. Like, oh, fuck off. Like, I'm the
Yeah,
opposite of all of these things. I'm just like, how would a woman, and if it was a man, and these women were saying, oh, my daughter's like, everyone's telling him too much. And they said if she was a boy, he'd go, oh, he's a great leader. Oh, he's pushy, he's driven, he's awesome. It's like, why are we keep being criticized, even from those people close to us? We're not enough, or we're too much, or something, or you're trying too hard, or whatever, you're a woman, just be like, what the fuck, can't to get anything right? And there's so many women just being like, oh my God, all we're just trying to show up as ourselves and be authentic. What the fuck, why everyone has a problem? But like, so I just won't speak at all. I won't ever show up to anything.
I
Clearly,
know.
I mean, like navigating that space, how anyone like ever just shows up as yourself and everyone's ever just happy
Yeah,
with what you're doing. And even as a company, because you'll see we're trying to present our mission and what we're about so that everyone really understands it. So it's clear, because we're getting feedback like, oh, I can't follow what you're doing. I was like, okay, sorry, you can't follow along, but here's what we're doing. So we're
yeah,
clear and we're transparent and we're giving everyone those messages. But I hope it's not coming from a place that we're being authentic and not trying to defend ourselves. But like, if we're not going to resonate with everyone, and then
right.
some people might misinterpret what we're doing. But there's again myself when I get feedback, and then there's the company gets feedback, and it's like being navigating that has been very interesting.
I
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a
Mm.
woman, Erin Gallagher, that I just adore her. And she recently has left LinkedIn, but she's writing a book about mean girls and the patriarch and everything. But she's also like, and part of the problem is that she started to like really make a stand, supporting like minority women and all this stuff. And then she's like, but then a lot of like women were mean to her too. And so she's like especially white women on white women. And so there was just this like, she's like I can't do anything right, and I get that feeling too. Like I know, like at my work, um, I was standing up because to get a project done, I had to have these very hard standards. Like the way that I would do my projects was I actually had a voting system, for the way that we worked on the sprint cycle. I think you're very familiar. I think you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I did sprints and Scrum and everything. And so we would size things, and I did team sizing. So it was based off of the complexity of a project, and the whole team voted on the size of something, and we'd have a team discussion around it, and everybody voted, and I wouldn't let people not vote. I mean, everybody has a say and everybody buys into the team commitments, and everybody had a voice. And there was no option of like, oh, we're not going to count that person's vote, like, absolutely not. Everybody has a say. um, and so I'm used to just enforcing these kind of rules, and to me, it wasn't an option not to. And if somebody was like not available, we would stop the meeting and go find them. If they were in the bathroom, we waited till they come back or whatever, right? Um, and and so at first they thought I was being a jerk, or and then they got used to it, that, oh, this is just how we function as a team. But I also noticed that people would quickly then turn on me if like the tables were kind of like, they'd be happy, but they didn't like it when like the they like being stuck up for, but they didn't necessarily like it when they were the offender, and then they would turn on me too. And so I realized that like it was just kind of human nature, for people to be on board when it's convenient and not when it's not, when it kind of works for them. And I was like, it's just a really tough position if not everybody wants it for each other. Like we really had to kind of just make a decision to rise together. Like I couldn't want this for everybody. I thought that if I was like, if I want this hard enough for everybody, we're going to get there. Like, come on, everybody, this is good for us. And I was like, tried to be the inspiration. I really did. I was like, I'll make all the graphs and charts and show you how amazing it's going to be. And I really tried. And some of the teams could develop really cool things. I'd be like, that's the cool team. Don't you want to be like them? And they'd be like, yeah. And then bad habits would slip. And I'd be like, man, like, let's be the cool team. And some teams would get bonuses and I'd be like, don't you want to be like them? Like, come on. And yet somehow it'd slip. And I just realized like, gosh, I was so drained from always trying to be the one. It really becomes draining but yet when you see that it's possible and you see like all we have to do is come together, everybody, it's a choice, let's do it. But we have to want it. We all have to want it.
You have to want it, and everyone needs to be good with taking accountability, because it sounds like when things switched, they weren't able to take accountability for themselves and their actions. So it's part of the culture has to be like that too.
Yeah, and I think when we all see, and I think that's what this beacon, it's possible. It's so possible. Like it's so hard for us to accept that we're not making that choice when we see how possible it is, because we're like, it's possible. Why wouldn't we? And I think that that's the beauty of a beacon, is that we are trying to bring a couple more beacons, and that maybe there's that magnetic light that reflects, and maybe that electricity. And I get really weird and imaginative. I can't, you all are the creative ones that can actually make it visual, but that create that is what amplifies. And that's what I see in AI, is that true amplification.
That's very cool.
Because it does amplify. It's actually technically possible. I've done the math.
Oh, yeah. Technically,
I am a math nerd.
yeah, scientifically, absolutely can on it.
That is actually
it
exponentially possible.
does. Yeah, and yet still there will be people that they'll say they want to work together, and when it comes to it, they don't. And there's still human nature in everything, but consciously we know we're moving towards a place where like-minded people will come together and will work together, and we'll get to that point where you're saying, let's come on, work together. And me and Wayne have been parading this for years, like everyone work together, yay, happy, not sing kumbaya, but move into a future where people can actually collaborate, and actually do for good and do the right things. But you see human nature on the news, and inherently that's not always going to happen in everyone's consciousness. But I think our community is so many like-minded people that are all beautiful and all on the same page. I just love that.
So you know what I believe though? Webs, like interlocking webs, actually are stronger than anything else. It's kind of like how the woven path, a mesh, is stronger than anything else. And so, yes, like hate breeds faster than love. I get super corny. You gotta bear with me.
Yeah.
But networks that have true bonds are interlocking webs. And those networks cannot be broken when they're true. And when they bond over real values, they can't be broken. people that don't have true bonds, those links will always break. They always break. They always break. Guaranteed. They're meant to break. But true bonds don't break. So if we actually have a real value system that we truly bond over, and we make that what we bond over, and we strengthen that, it can't be broken. And so the AEO, the things that will be in class tomorrow, those kinds of things, if we find those common elements and we support each other and we build a network that's what ties us together, it can't be broken. And we embed it into the internet. We become a superpower. We become a super grid of electricity that no one can break. And I know I sound crazy, so I'm going to take that.
No, nice. I think Wayne would like that because metaphysically he talks about energies and having grids of people connected and like-minded people connected the world over, and on an energy level that definitely reflects we're electromagnetic, right? So all you're saying is our thoughts, our threads are connected to everybody, and he already knows that that's real. I'm sure he'd have something smart to say, but I'm just saying I agree and I get it. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good is going to take over.
It's really cool. It's interesting. I even made a picture the other day that was about people connected by threads. Yeah. But it wasn't, it was a whole bunch of threads, just like around people and above people. But I definitely get the idea of having consciously people connected by.
All we have to decide is like, what it's kind of the agreements, right? Like it's consensual. It's that like, hey, I consent that like I don't want people getting hurt anymore. I consent to that. I consent that I'm not going to take advantage of anyone. I'm going to do my best. I consent to that.
Surely that can't be too hard, eh? Come on, humans. Surely that's the lowest denominator bar that we've got to aim for, right? Like,
yes, we raise the bar. That is actually going to be like my new slogan. Just raise the bar. Let's just raise the bar a little bit.
Come on, humans. Yeah. Oh my God. So on that note, I was actually rewriting the about page for our school community yesterday to reflect who we really are and what we're here for, so that people, if they're going to discover our school group, go, oh my God, yes, you're speaking to me and that's what you're here for. Instead of being a really vague, we're an AI group for women, like, yeah, that's not going to excite anyone, but really what that copy is going to say. Would you guys mind if I, A, use some of this messaging in our about page on school, and B, would you mind if I use some of these words for testimonials that I'm compiling? Because I love just hearing the words from our community to reflect how they feel about things, and I just think it's beautiful, and I'd love to just kind of infuse that into.
I'm honored if you use anything that I said, but obviously it's up to you.
It's cool. It's cool. I'm just compiling beautiful testimonials and messages, and this just helps me better understand what people are resonating with and how we're framing what we're doing, so from the members' point of view, so it's not just me thinking what you feel, but what everyone in the community is feeling and resonating with, so that what we're writing really reflects that and resonates with that. And I think that's just beautiful to hear how you're echoing what I'm creating and what I'm imagining is coming across, and that's beautiful. But to have the words behind it is nice. So that would be cool if you guys don't mind. I'd love to just
So you're more than welcome to. On my end, cool. Not speaking, please.
You're fine. Most of them were yours, so I'm like,
yeah. She's like, you're a talker.
Okay. You're passionate about this, and that's nice.
It's amazing. It's so cool. On tech, look, is there any new things you guys are building or doing? A new tool that you found, something cool, use case, any questions, anything? Do you want to?
I have to share. I've been trying to get my mom to use AI for the longest, and she refuses. She will not. She'll let me help her with some research for papers and stuff. She's doing a doctorate now, and she wrote this paper and she ran it through Grammarly, and it came back. It rewrote it, and now it's 90 some odd percent AI. And she is panicked because she's like, I can't turn this in. It won't make it through her grading protocol. But can you imagine the feeling like I gave you something that I wrote and then AI changed it all, like 90 some odd percent AI. She was panicking. And then I was like, well, I'm just gonna use AI to try to fix it, but that's gonna make it worse. It's like, don't you have a copy somewhere? And she's like, no. So I was like, just tell your teacher, like, they should know you, this is not the way you typically sound. But I thought that was hilarious. And sad. Like, she's panicked.
Oh no. Oh, so she didn't have another copy.
She did not.
Literally just changed
I'm
it.
like, why would you feed it? Yeah, why would you feed it to your original? And I couldn't get it to go like reverse or something. Like, I wish I was there. I could probably have helped her get something back. But I did an effort, and it was 90. I mean, like 50% AI at that point. So, but yeah, apparently Grammarly just changed the stuff. Yeah.
No, it quite did that to that degree. Oh my God. Last time I used Grammarly, it just tweaked my copy, like for grammatical and sentence structure.
That's all she wanted. That's all she wanted was to fix some grammar stuff. Um,
So she's no
I thought,
longer like you haven't convinced her that AI is a good thing.
No,
oh,
that was like, well, oh dear.
absolutely.
Oh no.
I am the only one in my family who likes it. Like, they like that I can help them get stuff done quicker, but they don't have buy-in at all. And that's fine. I respect their wishes.
Do they say
Um,
like why? Or is it fundamentally the idea of it, or they gotta, what
I
the
think it's fundamentally the idea of helping lose jobs, helping with less. I mean, I have some issues with it too because I'm concerned with who's building the systems. Like, I'm very concerned about the direction of how things are going. And then when you said, I think you sent something recently that I just read yesterday about them gaslighting, like they're deleting all the information and gaslighting about it, because it's learning based on what we're saying and how we've behaved for so long. We're not always the greatest people, so it's not learning good traits. So that concerns me greatly. Like, I feel like that learning in the way that it's learning is not a good way to go. I feel like there are other ways to make AI um, helpful, but yeah, I don't agree fully. So I'm not a huge fan in the direction and like how they're going to use it in the future. Like, but I feel like it could be so good if you train it in a way that is general, or like finding another way to train it, I feel would be amazing for the world. But I'm fearful. Like, I can't deny that.
What is your what like your number one fear? Would you be like, sometimes it's helpful to kind of put it out there to just be like, this is the worst thing that could happen. And I mean, I hopefully
The government being run by AI that has learned how to treat people badly. Like, I feel like
Mhm.
that's my big
The
fear.
real
Like, to be honest,
surveillance.
like not even surveillance, like no, like instead of having like people run things, like I feel like it could go that crazy. Like, we're putting chips in and AI advertising for the things that will make certain brands higher. Like, I just feel like there's so many things that we've done as humans that are just not truly good for, for anything but marketing or capitalism, that will turn and not be the best for the world. So, those are my fears. Like, just continuing on a pattern and a path for money's sake. That
Well,
bothers
and
me.
money
And
is
that makes
ultimately driven by people, right? Like, so it would end up being people that want to capitalize on others' lives, right?
yeah,
I think it,
Um,
yeah.
not the fun stuff, but
no,
what the, what,
I think,
what's the concerns?
have you heard about like, I think what I found maybe that gave me a little bit of hope this past week was some of the things that I saw that's happening with BRICS. And maybe it's me being a naive, but with the like a week ago or whatever, Friday, what happened in Rio, are you both
You have to catch me
are you
up
familiar
on
with
really
that?
Yeah,
So
I don't know what you-
what's that.
my understanding is on Friday of last week, BRICS got together, which is Brazil, Brazil, Russia. Okay, so
You're
you're
trying
familiar
to
with
set
the,
it, yeah.
yeah. So they got together, and my understanding is that they left that discussion, and of course, United States had pretty much opted out. There's a guy named Richard Wolff that does a lot of YouTubes. He's a economist professor. He's very dramatic in the way that he teaches. Like he's an older gentleman. He's very dramatic. He does like kind of YouTube clips hanging out in the background, but he actually explains things very well. So he talks about this if you just want to watch it too. But it's coming out of that meeting, and he explains a lot of economic things. But coming out of that meeting, they, from what I understand, is like they're kind of saying, okay, United States, clearly you've opted out in a lot of ways. But their stance is, especially because like Hungary and Turkey and other countries have opted in to join BRICS. Hey, you know what, United States, we will start to actually trade with individuals and country and companies. Um, so we're not cutting out all of the US. We're just cutting out parts of the US. But companies are not off. That's a game changer.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Um,
I can
and
already,
if
yeah, I'll go on. Yeah, it's interesting.
mhm. And if that's the message, that changes international, business quite a bit for Americans, I think.
Yeah. Already we've seen, so from anecdotal evidence from Wayne and his business partners who operate out of Asia and Russia, they're already boycotting the USA. Companies in USA are already getting locked out of the supply chain and like calling them saying, if you've gotten into this country, you've gotten into this country because no one wants to work with us. And they're already, the BRICS is growing in power and steam. We don't need to spell out that the USA is just crumbling everywhere. China's going forward motion, gangbusters into the future. I love the AI policy. It's human first, right? It's inclusive. USA is just like, fuck people. We just want innovation and money. Really, that's how I'm hearing the policy be described. And let alone, and everyone that we talk to, the commodities markets, they're already shutting out US players already. So again, maybe surprising, not surprising, but like, yeah, big power moves for sure.
Yeah. And so if it's basically like, hey, actually we see humans, because
Yeah.
US, like, it's like everyone's like, we don't want this, right? So if and the thing is that most people are just individuals. Like, we have a lot of entrepreneurs here that are like, what? So that want to do business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel it's not all, yeah, I know it's not all big evil corporate catalysts, like just people like you, like just people in the US are like, oh my God, this is going to be really hard to navigate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, there's potentially like opportunity for people to say we have options of choosing, like, like different.
Mhm. We
And if
just
we have
hope,
options,
yeah, they could perhaps choose a, like if we all want to align with BRICS, like the New Zealand, Australia has always been quite aligned to the US for the US dollar and trading, but we used to be aligned with Britain because we're in the Commonwealth. But then we cut trade ties with Britain and then kind of went to Southeast Asia and America. But some of our country, they've had brainwashing against BRICS countries. in a very American aligned, where the other parts of our country see strong alignment with the Asian kind of BRICS countries. So it's quite interesting which way the Australia New Zealand's going to go, because we sit in Asia Pacific, right? That we're logical trading partner, but because the US dollar, some people in this just think that's the be all and end all of everything. But I don't know which way it's going to go with trade, and it's very
Well,
interesting.
I think because of the Genius Act, we can like, are you familiar with that? The Genius Act?
What's that?
We're moving to stablecoin,
Can we get? I'm
the
not.
dollar.
Yeah. Might have
Yeah.
to elaborate a little bit. I don't know if we've got time.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
So look that up, the Genius Act.
I'll have a look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know the BRICS countries are trying to get their own currency, you know, and Russia and China are already doing their. So somewhere between, there's a direct bank-to-bank trading between like Russia, America, Europe, China, already doing trade and banking directly, cutting out the US dollar, getting their own currencies. They're just like, we're just playing in our own sandpit. Like, massive shifts. But I'm more concerned, like looking at the USA, the policies in AI, if that's what you call it, the China's one, the Japan's one, the EU's one versus the American one versus, and I'm like, well, how do we get one cohesive global policy for the future for AI? And clearly, most people are playing in one sandpit. USA is off playing in one little over sandpit with their own ideas over here. And like, how do you get global cohesion with like still?
Well, I the way that I see it, like it's not going to be possible. And so like we're going to have to we have to do something, you know. We have to take care of ourselves. And I think that like we made bad decisions, right? And like, you know, there were plenty of people that wanted to not make bad decisions. And now the people that helped make bad decisions are going to have to step up to the plate and help us undo some bad decisions.
Yeah. If they will take responsibility and step up. Most people are good people, and we just see what people want to work together and have good outcomes. I know.
Yeah.
It's just,
well, there's outrage. I mean, there's just absolute outrage here. So I am at least encouraged by the amount of outrage that I see. I mean, there's just absolute outrage. So I am hoping that we gain our strength, and you know, because this is not sustainable. Yeah.
Right.
And in the meantime, if anybody lends their hand out to us and says, we see you trying, we see that you're outraged, you know, that helps us. You know, I think so. Like, we don't, you know, there are people that I think that's why we're a stronger grid, you know. I think good role models are always nice.
Yeah.
And I think that like, you know, we acted like we were the role model when we were. We're not. We haven't been.
No. What's that? The only thing I can think of, that saying that says, when everybody stands together and realize that the power is in the people and everyone can stand up and make a change. Like and I know that like rioting doesn't work and protests have been happening in New Zealand, that doesn't work, and how fundamentally over the next few years systems are going to crumble. There is going to be disruption. People will shift and change. And it's all got to crumble somehow and break down and then start anew, right? And that's not an easy or comfortable process. It's going to be messy and terrible as fuck. Like, but it's happening. I know globally, everyone does not like the systems anymore and they're broken, right? And we're going to fix them. And all I can think to do is do our piece to make our voices heard. vote smartly and like train the AI as best we can to like put in as much good things as we can so that there's empathy and compassion and diversity in the fucking algorithm at least. Like,
Yeah.
and do what we can to share our voices. Like every mum I know, just like let's make sure our kids have a good future. Let's do our best to stand up and be informed and like, yeah.
I think if the rest of the world has compassion for us, as shitty as we've been, that is a really strong statement.
Mm.
And I think that would be like, I think if we are given compassion, considering, quite frankly, what assholes we've been, that would be a shock, and we should be grateful. My family did not come from this country. Right. So I can say that, like,
Mhm.
like I think that there are beacons out in the world, and I'm gonna just be very grateful if there continues to be beacons in the world. And to me, I think that that's beautiful that there are beacons in the world that can show us compassion, because we have not been kind, and we continue to not be kind to each other. So we need role models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's time for us to learn our lesson and see what a good role model looks like. No pressure.
You're coming to my TED talk today. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I hear you. I hear you go. I don't have all the answers, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's good out there, and
Mhm.
I am not too humble to say that I'm okay with saying that there's good out there, right?
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
many talks at home with like Wayne and our family about the still you would think everyone would be on the same page, yet there is still even division within women that are have very opposing views, let's say that surprise the rest of us that are voting for the opposite of the future that we want. And how can you move forward as a country when you've still got people voting for the ones that are leading you now? And there's still women judging other women. There's still women voting for white men. There's still women in the old system. There's still women that want to beg down to
That's
men.
for it.
And so other women are telling me that when we're divided, when we can't even agree, how the fuck you think everyone is going to get consciously on the same boat and move towards in the future? We've still got really different opposing points of view. People are still fighting which sports game you like, which religion you like, which political team you're voting for. Like, there's no union. If the USA, like, it's got its own karmic journey to go through, whatever. And I know you can't all run away and retire to Thailand. Everyone can't leave the US. I know that, so you're all doing your best. But like we're in a little bubble down here in New Zealand, and we're just like we're even divided, like left versus right versus future versus past versus it's just this space from now till maybe 2035 when consciously humanity is going to shift so dramatically. We can only do our best to put our voices in that space and hope we navigate it to a positive future, not a more robotic one.
Right. I, and maybe this comes down more to human rights that I just believe in, and it's not about politics. It is about human rights for me. And so if we take politics out of it, because I think and that's actually what I got out of the BRICS discussion, is that they're countries that are even at war now, and yet they agree about some certain things, that they agree, and that, hey, we're going to need to trade, we're going to need to do some things, like there's things. And so it's finding that common ground, and what can we kind of basic agree on. And I mean, that's basic negotiations. And to me, I don't know, saying, hey, do you want to live? Do we want to not blow up the world? Sure, that sounds good.
I would agree on
Yeah,
that.
let's start there. Like, that sounds good. Hey, how about we not like hurt people in general? Like, in general, let's try not to do that. Like, that sounds good. I'll start there, right? Like, I'm going to try not to harm you. That sounds good. I'll shake on that. If we can't do that, then we are not going to agree on much. So if we can't do that, people are going to fight over land when we've had it over thousands and thousands. Like Hungary, that's where my family's from. Of course, that piece of land has been fought over for thousands of years. So land is an issue, but do we actually need to hurt each other? I don't know.
Lanice, did you have any thoughts? I mean, you always have something inspiring to say. I don't have any big answers, just like I'm here.
No pressure. I mean, we're gonna see what happens. I definitely believe in like being hopeful, and I want the best for the world. So, just gonna put good out, and hopefully good will come back. You know, doing my part.
Yeah.
That's all we can do is kind of like a little bit of positive energy towards each other and hope that amplifies in some kind of way.
Pretty much. So we're just here, girls, doing our little beacon and doing our community and doing our love and like unite as many people as we can on the boat that's heading towards a positive future. And we'll all just do our part and yeah.
Yeah, and we have tools. We have tools.
Yeah.
Because we are smarter with our network of tools.
Yeah. I know that's beautiful. I don't know if you guys felt to wrap up there, but I love that discussion and I've had lots of tingles. I think that's beautiful, and I'm going to share posts in school because you've made me have lots of thoughts and an inspiring discussion that I think everybody in the community is probably wrangling with how to navigate all this. So
I'm wrangling too. So.
Good deal.
But thank you for coming and raising that and bringing up the discussion and yeah, and I don't know. We'll carry on and yeah, we're always here and we're always inside school and love that you guys are here and yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Have a good
day, whatever time,
yes.
whatever time it is for you.
Whatever time it is. Yeah. No, thanks, girls. We'll talk to you soon, eh? It's really cool.
Okay.
All right. See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.